There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the August Snakes and Scotch live stream. I have snakes and I have bourbon. I don't have Scotch. I have plenty of Scotch, but I have bourbon today. We'll talk about it in a minute. But I have Willow and Dash out right now because I'm going to put them on the counter and we're gonna watch them cruise around a little bit. But hi, everybody. Before we do that, let's I'm going to take one hand and go through this. Hi, you guys. Hi, early people that popped in. Like Quinn says, sadly won't be there for the live because of time zones. Yeah, I get that. But would love to ask Bob about who he enjoyed meeting at the build-off. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the build-off. Tyler, Stevie, surprise clutch hatched. Cool. Congrats. That's awesome. Let's see. Cowbell Chaos. Glad you're here. Welcome. Mackenzie. Amy's in. Amy's here early. She's not going to be here the whole time, but she's here early. Amy helped me out a lot today. Erica's in. That's great. Amy helped by getting my getting all of my Patreon questions organized in a manner that to where I can just read them off easily. Takes me a long time to do that. Oh, Spencer's in too. Hey, Spencer. Let's see. Where'd you go? Dang it, I just lost everything. Natty's Garden is in. Sometimes I just lose my place on this. I want to say hi to everybody, but I can't. Nicole, thanks for coming in. I just shipped Nicole's snake today, along with Sarah's snake. A couple of snakes went out today. Nicole, I think I told you yesterday that your snake, like I came home from being out of town and your snake was having a bad shed, but totally got it all off. And she looks beautiful now. So I was happy about that. The shed actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that happens sometimes. I've been gone, you guys, for a week and a half. I've had Lucy coming in and taking care of the snakes while I'm gone. And Amy Bentley, thanks, Amy, for the cool hat comment. Amy came in once and took care of snakes. So that was great. It's nice to have people that can pop in and do some things. Amy was in town for a Taylor Swift concert, and she stopped by the house, and she and her sister picked up her sister's snake that they got from me, and took care of some other snakes. Hang on, I'm just scrolling down, and then we got a lot of stuff to get to today, you guys. We got a lot of questions for the Q&A. I got a bunch of stuff to tell you. And keep your eyes on the chat because there's a lot of stuff happening in the chat. A lot of people asking questions, a lot of other people giving advice. Great community in the chat. So let's do this. Where are we at? Let's talk about, you know what? I want to go hands-free. So let's do this really quick. Oh, dang it. Now Willow's in my hat. So we're going to do Dash first. I'm going to let Willow hang out on my hat strap. Let's do this. Watch this, you guys. Boom. All right. Let's put Dash over here, see what he wants to do. And then I'll be right with you with Willow in a moment. Hey, why do you have to grab my whole hat? What is going on, lady? Can you just let go? Okay. So we got Dash and a hide. We'll see what Willow wants to do. So Dash likes to be in hides, And Willow likes to get herself in trouble by squishing herself in between things. So we'll see what she ends up doing. But we're going to go sort of back and forth between both cameras. Oh, I can also do what happens if I do a split screen? Look at that. Now we can watch both situations. Oh, Willow's going up high. They're just going to be in and out. It's kind of fun watching them do their thing. We might add other snakes to that countertop or switch some out. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn from Dash. Okay. Let's get to, I tell you what, we'll do this. We'll do this double screen situation. I'll tell you what I'm drinking. So, Wayne the Distracted, one of my Patreon supporters, was so nice. He sent me a bourbon. This is a local bourbon from Maine. It's called Mossy Ledge Spirits. He sent me this weeks ago, and I've been waiting to try it for a live stream that I could try it on. I didn't bring it to Amy's. My last live stream was at Amy's house, and Amy specifically said, do not bring any alcohol. I have tons. As it turns out, she was right. She did have tons. So anyway, I'm trying this for the first time on this live stream. And it also came with a Mossy Ledge rocks glass, but I want to try it in my Glencairn. This is a Scotch glass, but it's better for nosing. And whenever I'm trying something for the first time, I want to try it in a Glencairn. Willow, what are you doing? Getting yourself into trouble already? I gotta watch her. Hey, can you? Thank you. All right. Oh, that's nice. It smells good. It's got it smells chocolatey. I like it. That's really nice. So here's a problem that I have with a lot of local smaller bourbon distilleries is a lot of times they over age their bourbons, and so you get way too much of an oak flavor, and I don't like that. And this does not have too much of an oak flavor. It has a lot. There's a lot of oak, but there isn't bourbon anyway, because you have to age bourbon in brand new American oak barrels. That's one of the rules. And when you're aging in brand new oak, you get a lot of oak flavor. But if you overage, it becomes a problem. And this one is not overaged. I don't think there's an age statement on it. So it just has to spend some time in a new oak barrel. And I can tell that this has, but not too much. It's not overpowering. It's nice. And it is chocolatey. That's so cool. It's really good. It's really good. Thanks, Wayne the Distracted. I love his name too. It's great. All right. So Dash and Willow are now together in a hide. I always think that's interesting. You know, they are brother and sister. So they're out together often just because they're roughly the same size. They're not of breeding age yet, so that's not a concern for me. But it's always interesting when I see them choose to be in the same hide together. It makes me wonder if there's a reason for that, or if it was just a coincidence. You know, we always say that ball pythons are not social animals. They do say that there's a time during breeding season in the wild that they might come together as like a group, not just a pair, but a group. But it's interesting. There's not a lot of, especially breeders. There's not a lot of breeders who free roam their snakes for enrichment like I do. So I don't think there's been a lot of observation on this type of thing. But it's always interesting when the snakes choose to hang out in the same general area. You know, it might just be coincidence. All right, let me look at a couple. Let me look at some some comments here. I'm gonna miss some. I always make this disclaimer. I'm gonna miss a lot of comments, and it's not because I'm trying to. It's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just that it's really hard to get to all these. Plus, I have a whole bunch that Patreon has already submitted to me, so we're gonna get to those. But stuff like Skinny Slim's comment, I appreciate that. Sure do love the look of Willow. Yeah, thanks. She is super pretty. She's got a lot of paradoxing. In fact, you're looking at some paradoxing right now on her. That side splotching right there is just a weird paradox, and she has it. Her head is a weird paradox too. I'll point it out again when she pops back out, but it's pretty interesting. That's why I kept her, because she's just cool looking. Nicole, I generally only drink whiskey, some type of whiskey, whether it's bourbon. Scotch is my preference, but I enjoy bourbon. I enjoy Irish whiskey. I don't drink a lot of mixed drinks, but when somebody gives me one, I always go, wow, that's delicious. It's like dessert. But it's not what I typically would go for, because I enjoy the taste of different whiskeys. And it's so much easier for me to just take whiskey and pour it in a glass rather than make a drink. But I enjoy drinks. Send me that recipe, Nicole. Maybe I'll make it if I have the stuff. I don't have ingredients to make drinks, but I could round stuff up. Okay. Oh, here's Willow's head. Hey, can I show you my hand without you freaking out this time? There we go. You're coming right up. We're right off camera, aren't we? I'm just trying to show your head. Can I just do this really quick? No, I can't reach it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll try again next time. Where's my... All right. Spencer, I quite enjoyed drinking Weller at your house recently. That video's coming out. Actually, that video is not coming out till September. But I did a video at Spencer's house. We went and looked at all his snakes, including two of my most favorite snakes that I've ever sold. Spencer bought, and it was really cool to check them out. And I hadn't seen them in a long time, so it was really cool to go and visit them and see how they've changed and such. And Spencer enjoys a good Scotch and a good bourbon, and so we had some of that. So yeah, it's good stuff. Look at this. Clint is in, you guys, from Black Box Cages. If you have cage questions, ask him. Also, these hides are black. These hides are so worth it to get, in my opinion. I mean, it always depends on your setup, but I love these black box hides. Clint sent me these without telling me that he was sending me 1 million hides. And it made me so happy, because it gave me the idea to do this, to do these hide condos. I have them up here behind me, and I have them here, and I have a bunch in cages. But they're just super heavy duty. They're made out of the PVC that the cages are made out of. So they're pretty cool. Everybody asks me where I got those hides. Black Box Cages. Okay, still scrolling through a little bit. I'm way behind. Sorry about that. Gerald, yes, thank you for noticing. I am. I do have a cold. I'm getting off a cold. I've just been at. So here's where I've been. That's a good segue to talk about this. So I've been at at a festival up in Washington for the last 2 weekends. It's a 3-weekend festival, and what I do is I drive up and perform the first weekend, and then I usually fly home, and then I fly back and forth, and I leave my car up there. So, but this week, what I did is or I guess to 2 weeks ago, last week, whatever, I drove up, performed that weekend at the festival, and then flew to Minneapolis to snake discovery, where I competed in the snake discovery build off. And that was super fun. It was exhausting though, because I had just done this entire weekend, which takes everything out of me. Hi, Willow. And then I hopped on a plane on my birthday, hopped on a plane at like 5 o'clock. I got on the plane at 4:30 in the morning. We took off at 5 and went to snake discovery for that build off. It was a blast. And yeah, just super fun. The event itself was fun, but like we had dinner the night before, we went to dinner the night of. I have always wanted to meet Clint from Clint's Reptiles. I'm a big fan of his channel, and Clint was there, and we got to hang out. He when I walked into the restaurant, he immediately told me that he's been watching my videos like the last few weeks. I think somebody turned him on to my videos, so he had been watching a bunch. And he said that he really liked them, which made me feel good. And we just were nerds about animals together for quite a while, several times during those few days. So there will be some Bob and Clint collaborations coming up, I think. I'm going to be there for his he's having a grand opening of his reptile room in Salt Lake City, Utah. And so I will be there for that in October. I'm excited about that. And so that was really fun. For that question that was asked at the very beginning of this, who was I excited to meet? That's who I was excited to meet. There was a bunch of other people there too. Dave Kaufman, who I've met before. Love hanging out with him. He's super funny and fun to mess around with and joke with. And Ed and Emily are just the nicest people. They're great hosts and just really sweet people. So I'm working hard at getting the editing done in that video. There's a lot of footage shot. My friend Tracy came with me. Tracy is That Hot Librarian on YouTube. So she often posts in the comments and gives a super chat to contribute to the Scotch Fund. But she came along and did all the video stuff and took a bunch of photos, and she was great. Kent came along too, but he was not as helpful as you might imagine, because as it turns out, snake discovery is a reptile zoo. So there's that. So that was really fun. So here's what happened. I did my weekend in Washington, flew to Minneapolis, did a few days with that, flew back to Washington. Fortunately, my sister lives in Seattle. And so I was able to have two days to relax. But I shot a video during those 2 days because my sister just got her first ball python. My sister and my nephews just got their first ball python, and I set up that snake and we made a little video about it. So we did that. Then I performed the second weekend, and then I flew back home, got here yesterday, and I'm here until Friday, where I fly back to Seattle. So anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's been a travel schedule. It's been a travel schedule. So the original question, am I sick? Yes, I have a cold. I'm getting over it. I thought it was going to be way worse than it turned out to be. I actually thought it was going to be terrible during this, but I feel fine. I just sound a little congested. I'm going to save Willow here in a second because I can already tell she's getting herself into trouble. She's crawled off camera now. Let's see. Cowbell Chaos is asking, how much would a morph like Willow go for? Willow would go for quite a bit because she's a freeway with some other stuff. Hang on a second. Let me save her. Hey, lady. Oh, I'm sorry. I touched you when you weren't expecting it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for startling you. Willow is a what is she even? I don't remember. She's a freeway, which makes her spendy as is, but she's Orange Dream, and she spot nose, freeway, maybe something else. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But she would be well over $1,000. Like she would be under 2,000, but well over 1,000, I would say. Although you always have, whenever I price snakes, I always look up on Morph Market to see what the current situation is. And I haven't looked it up lately because I don't plan on selling Willow. She's mine. So cute. Look at this. Hang on. So this head, she's spot nose. So that's a bit of her head stamp, but it's also a paradox head stamp a little bit. It's just kind of weird. She just has this kind of strange paradoxing going on, which I really like. And every spot that's paradox is brighter than the rest of her body. The rest of her body almost looks hypo. She's not hypo, but the rest of her body almost looks like it's kind of almost in shed all the time. But every spot of paradox is brighter. It's pretty cool. It's a cool snake. Oh, I have super chats that I got to pay attention to. Hang on. Let me get to them. I hope you guys don't mind. This might be a long live stream. We got a lot going on. We got a lot of people in. Oh my gosh, 164 people. You guys, welcome to the new people who haven't been on a live stream before. I remember very recently live streams where when we hit 100, sometime in the middle of the live stream, we'd eventually get to 100. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, we have 100 people in right now. And then it would drop down to 98. And I'd be like, dang it. We've got, oh, well, now it's dropped down to 158. So clearly I said something wrong. But welcome to those of you who are new. Ethan is asking if we can get a hint of what type of animal you designed the enclosure for the build-off for. You can have a hint, Ethan. Your hint is that I designed it for a gargoyle gecko. There's your hint. It was fun. It was a fun build. I will say this about the build off, that I went there thinking that I was bringing the coolest thing that anybody's ever brought as their one thing from home. And it was, if I'm comparing it to the previous seasons, but everybody else had that same idea. Everybody brought their A game. I'm going to need your votes just to slip into the top 3 on this one. Like, I thought that I had it in the bag, but everybody upped their game this year. The enclosures are incredible. So I absolutely need your votes to get into the top 3. Okay. Birdie, thank you for the super chat. This is how I see this is, if you want me to see your comment, for sure, super chat it. Even if I miss it, Amy will text me and tell me that I missed a super chat. So we even have a fail safe. Sorry, Birdie 284. Hey, Bob, happy belated and feel better. Thank you. I appreciate that. Can't wait to see the build off. Did you feed all your snakes on the same day? Do you feed all your snakes on the same day? Say hi to Ken. Thanks. I don't feed all my snakes on the same day. And I can do that because I'm not a big breeder. And hang on, I just want to make sure that Dash is in the hide that I think he's currently in. Otherwise, I got to look for him. So I think, if I was somebody that had 100 snakes, I would have to have a system where it's like, all right, it's snake feeding day. But I like to feed my snakes based on what I think they need. And I can do that individually because I don't have a million snakes. And so here, I'll let you guys look in on this as well. So I feed them. I have them all kind of on their own schedule. Yep, he's in there. I see him. I have them all kind of on their own schedule. And a lot of my snakes eat every 2 weeks. A lot of my snakes eat currently every 1 week. Some of them every 10 days. In fact, she's probably going to go to every 10 days pretty soon. Once she gets onto small rats, we'll move her to every 10 days, and Dash as well. So they're all kind of different. And sometimes the snake doesn't eat, they'll refuse a meal. And I might want to offer, normally if they refuse, I'm just going to offer them a meal on their next scheduled meal. But sometimes I'll go, no, I'd rather they try to eat again. So maybe I offer 3 or 4 days later or something like that. So I just keep track of it all. Would never be able to do that though if I had 100 snakes. So that's that. And also, especially like with the super dwarves, not only are they on a schedule, but I also look at their body condition and I go, should I feed them a little early? Can they go a little bit later? Should I feed them a rat this time? Should they eat a chick instead? Stuff like that. I do that with Maya as well. Hi, Taylor. Welcome. I'm sure that your horses enjoyed their baths. Glad you're here. Let's see. Jennifer, you should come to the Renaissance Festival in Seattle is actually in Snohomish now. They just moved it to Snohomish, and there were a number of people that were fans of the channel that showed up at the festival last weekend and the weekend before and said hi to me. It was cool. It's always fun to meet folks that are followers of the channel. Patreon supporters. There's a number of Patreon supporters that come out. In fact, Justin Wingard, who I've met several times at that festival, he came out and did the pub crawl because I do 3 stage shows at that festival, but I also host the pub crawl. So that was fun to have Justin come out and do the pub crawl with me. That was pretty cool. All right, we're gonna let Willow hang out on my hat. Whoops, that's the wrong direction. She can hang out on my hat. Tanner, Kent has made live stream appearances, but only a couple. He's usually not working during live streams. That's the thing. Amy, thanks for the super chat. Producer Amy Bentley, you guys. I got to go teach dance, babes. Bob, Mama Bledsoe is here. Oh, Mom, you're here? You're in? Cool. You guys, my mom's here. But YouTube isn't giving her the live chat option. Oh, Erica, I'm tagging you in. Have fun, guys. All right. So what that means is Erica will now text me if I miss a super chat. Thanks, Erica, because I know Erica's in. Mom, I'm sorry that you don't have text or chat ability. That's so weird. I wonder if you're on your phone instead of your computer, and that's why. But thanks for letting Amy know so that she could tell us so that we can all say hi to you anyway. Hopefully the chat shows up for you because I know you like to be in the chat. You guys, my mom is a big supporter of green room pythons and a fan of snakes. It's always fun to have her in the chat. Thanks, Outbad Brutal. I appreciate that. This is Willow, and she's always been just a delightful snake. I'm going to put her back on the counter, and we'll see what she does. She has lately been getting herself into trouble, though. I often will put Willow. Willow's awake usually until about 9 o'clock in the morning, and so early mornings, if I don't have the super dwarves out, I'll put Willow and sometimes Dash as well on top of this back here. And the last 2 times that Willow has been up there, including this morning, she has figured out how to wedge herself behind the cage or on the side of the cage. There's no room for a snake to get there, but she squishes herself super tight. She loves to squish herself. So she is now grounded from being up there, and she kind of gets herself into trouble, like she is right now. Hey, don't go there, lady. Can you know what? Let's do this. I have an idea. Look, can I just put you on top right here? Let's just see what that does for you. Let's see if you like that situation. Okay. Should we do my big announcement? Patreon has known my big announcement for some time, and I thought I better announce it to the world. Hang on one second. Where's my... So, September, my... oh, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to give my announcement in a second. There's... sorry, I'm getting distracted. Does your friend that 3D printed the ball behind you sell these by chance? Yeah, this is a fan of the channel, and people have asked, and I talked to the guy. I keep forgetting who it is, but we ended up talking on Instagram, and I was like, give me your contact information so that I can send people to you. And he was like, yeah, just have him hit me up on Instagram. Well, the problem is that everybody's asking on YouTube and not everybody's on Instagram, so it's not that helpful. And I don't remember who it is. So if you're watching right now and you printed that 3D ball, send me your contact information so that people can buy these, because they are really cool. They're awesome, but we need like an email address or something, because Instagram is not always the best thing. Okay, hold on. There, let me take care of these super chats really quick. BD Lexon, thank you for that. That's so nice. Thanks for the super chat, and not even a question attached to it. Just thank you for your videos. That's so nice. I appreciate that. Oh man, lots of super chats. Angel Garcia, you are amazing. Oh, thanks. Thank you to you and Emily for keeping it simple and making me not afraid of snakes. Now I own 6. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love hearing that. That's really nice. I appreciate that super chat, Angel. So cool. Congrats on those snakes. That's amazing. Okay, scrolling down. Lori, you're amazing with your $50 super chats. I really appreciate that. We have not seen the babies yet. We're going to. I'm going to make my announcement, which you already know. And then we're going to show babies, including the one that you just reserved. All right, last super chat before I make my announcement from Matthew. Hey, Bob, I just got kicked from a Facebook group for free roaming in a snake-proof room. I think we've got that question on the Patreon. We're going to talk about that. They say it's unsafe. Also next Zoom. Oh yeah, we need to do another Patreon Zoom call. You're right. We'll do that. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Facebook groups, everybody has their own rules or whatever, and a lot of times it's not because you did a thing. It's not because you free roam. It's because you mentioned free roaming and somebody didn't like it, and there was probably an argument that ensued. And because they don't understand it, the whoever's like the god of the Facebook group just booted you, which I see that happen a lot. There's Facebook groups are problematic. Hang on, let me see if I can. Oh, I guess she doesn't need to be saved. She's just way up top now. She's off camera and way up here, but there's really nowhere she can go. So, all right. I'm going to the Amazon, you guys. That's the big announcement. I'm in September. I'm headed off on September 3rd to Suriname, which is, I didn't know either. I know you don't know where it is. I didn't either. Suriname is above Brazil. There's the Guyanas above Brazil, and Suriname's kind of a small country right in the middle, right in between the other two Guyanas. And so I'm going there with my friend Amy Benzie, not Amy Bentley, our very own Amy Bentley, but Amy Benzie, who has an Instagram called Happy Basins that I highly recommend you follow, because she keeps Amazon basins, and it's amazing what she's done with her snake room. And she posts videos and photos and stuff that are really cool. So check out Happy Basins on Instagram. But anyway, Amy and I are going to Suriname to collect not basins, because they're usually northern emerald tree boas, but we're collecting emerald tree boas and other, just Amazon tree boas and maybe other reptiles from an area that's highly trafficked. So they're taking reptiles out of this area and shipping them off to the UK and the United States to become pets. they often don't survive that trip. So what we're doing is going down and collecting what we can find and just bringing them deeper into the jungle to re-release them into an area that's not trafficked. And it's going to be an adventure. So we're doing that. We're going to go herping for 1, maybe 2 nights before Suriname. We're actually going because we fly to Miami, and then from Miami we go to Suriname. So we booked our flight for a couple days before because we want to go herping in the Florida Everglades. So that'll be like a mini adventure before our Amazon trip. So there's going to be some videos that come of that. I'm super excited to just find what we find. But Amy does this several times a year. She's been doing it since I think when COVID first started. She decided that she was going to start taking trips to the Amazon to do this, and she's made relationships with people. There's a guide service that she actually helped start. They're these guys that used to be trappers, and they decided that they wanted to quit being trappers basically and make their money as guides instead, and do something that is helpful to the ecosystem instead of hurtful, which I think is really cool. And so we're going with them, and I'm excited. That's it. That's my announcement. It's going to be super fun. We may be skipping a video or two. I don't know. I'm really trying to get videos out and get videos made so that we don't have to take a break, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So we'll see. But if we do have to skip, you understand, right? I hope. Okay. Let me check on Willow really fast. Oh, she's good. She's doing fine. Should we take? Okay, let's look at babies. So I have a new clutch. First of all, let's do this because he's just up and out. Hey, buddy. Look at this one. Look at this little boy. So this is not from the brand new clutch, but this is from a new clutch. This is my holdback. So this is a snake that's what? Somebody jump in and tell me for sure. I bet somebody else knows better than I do, but this clutch is what, a month and a half old, something like that. This is the Inspector and Lucille, had babies. And this is my holdback. And I held this boy back because he came out of the egg. He was just purple. That was all. He was one color. He was the only banana that came out monotone. He was only one color. And then after a couple days before he shed, he got a little bit of orange on his neck. And then he shed, and he got a couple of bright patches of orange. And now, like, every day he gets brighter. I don't even know if you can tell the brightness of this snake, but he is a Orange Dream Inchy Fire Banana Het Pied. And he's just, hang on, let me get my hand out of the way. Hey, buddy, can we? He's just super colorful at this point. I don't think it's picking up the yellow, but he's got yellows and oranges and purples, and he just looks crazy. I love this guy. So 2 of his siblings got shipped off today to their new homes, and that's that. So that's that boy. He's cool. I like him a lot. I don't have a name for him yet, but I will. All right, let's look at this new clutch. The new clutch is a combination of Lydia Dietz, who is a clown het pied, and Bear, who's a pied het clown. I would show you those snakes, but they just ate yesterday, so I'm not going to pull them out. But let's just start with number 1. Number 1 is the only normal double het that came out, and she has bit me many times. She just is a striker. She will strike at my hand when I'm holding her. I did a little bit of socialization work with her earlier today. It's just that she's just not used to anything. Like what happened is they hatched out, and I had them for 2 or 3 days. Like before I left for Seattle, I was with them for like 3 days, and they hadn't shed yet, so they were just in a snake pile, hadn't shed, and oh, look at you! You're not even hissing. Come on, I love it. Look at that! What a little tiny bit of socialization does. So, oh, Willow, come on, dude. You can't come down that way. Hang on. Now I got problems. Hang on. Hey, let me redirect you. What a great explorer you are, but now we're opening babies here. Get your nose out of there. All right. I need a camera. I need a camera on this situation. All right, so here's this little normal. This is taking so long. Here's this cute little normal, but the het pied and het clown influence does some really interesting things. Oh, there we go. It focused. Does some cool things with kind of giving. She's not really showing it, but she's much lighter, kind of near her belly. She just curled up because she's nervous. I'll put her back. But I love that she's not biting me. She's not striking at me. It's really nice. She was quite a striker yesterday. All right. There you go, little one. Great job. You just give them a little bit of experience with the giant ape, and they learn that they're not going to be murdered. They don't all learn super fast, different speeds of learning, I guess. We got a lot of clown het pieds in this clutch. So here's a cute little clown het pied right here. Look how dark that back is. I wish the camera just knew where to focus. It would be great. Really cute little clown het pied. I might not pull them all out because there are a number of clown het pieds. That's number 2. Number 3 is the same thing and hard to open her tub because the mic's in the way. Number 4 is a little boy. Oh no, you got a hiss? You hiss into the microphone? No? All right. Another clown het pied. We didn't get any pied het clowns. Oh, hang on. I got to save Willow. She's being a problem. Hey. Yo, don't do that. Come on. Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. So I put Willow back. I would put Dash back too because he's no fun. He's just, you know what? He's just sitting in a hide. Okay. So we've got like 4 clown het pieds. Here's another one. Hey, little one. Look at you. This one's got some. Is this the one? Oh, this is the one that's got the cool ghost faces. So Lydia Dietz, I love how Lydia has ghost faces on her side, but not all clowns have really good ghost faces. This one does, which is cool. And then there's another clown that has some really broken up alien head. We call these the alien heads. And on clowns, sometimes alien heads turn into like what I call ghost faces. But there's one snake that has some really broken up ones, which is cool. This one is not comfortable with me manipulating her around. All right, now check out the clown pieds because they are pretty stunning. Am I going to be able to get to this one? well if I pull this out. I'm just playing musical tubs here for a minute. I've got my mic right in the way. Okay, whose is this? Oh, this is Lori's. Okay. So there we go. This one. Lori, here's your snake right here. This was my favorite out of the two clown pieds. And I was really hoping it was a male. And it turns out it's a female, which Lori was happy to take. Hang on, I'm going to try to get her in a position where you can really see her. She's got a really cool neck pattern. Really unfortunate that I can't get the camera to focus on this snake. Oh, there we go. There's your neck. So she's got a long neck pattern that's really... Come on, focus. Awesome head stamp. It's a really cool snake. Clown pieds are great. All right. This is quite a production, getting these snakes out. Now I'm sweating. I feel like I'm at the festival, you guys. Man, it was so hot last weekend. Just sweating like crazy. Okay, there's that one. All right, last one. Here's my holdback. This is a boy, clown pied. Almost as cool. I just really like the neck pattern on the other one. But this little boy's awesome. I love his head stamp. Let's do this again. There we go. Cute little guy. They have not had their first meal yet, but they'll be offered one tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, they get their first meal. Okay. There we go. We did it. Oh, Mom, you're in. My mom's a nurse, you guys, so occasionally we'll get comments like this. Are you perhaps running a low-grade fever? I don't think so, Mom. I think I'm actually feeling a lot better than I did yesterday. I don't think I'm running a fever, but sometimes when I'm wearing a hat that doesn't have ventilation, I get really hot. And I am wearing this hat that doesn't have ventilation, which I normally don't wear this one, but it's what I chose. I'm glad the chat is working for you now, Mom. Okay. Spencer, not buyer's remorse. Here's the thing. Spencer is known for buying the best, my number one snake out of each clutch. And this time Lori got it. In my opinion, it's just my opinion on which one's the best, you know. So anyway, Spencer almost did though. there were talks. Spencer really wanted a boy though. That was the thing. I was keeping the boy. I think if they were both boys, Spencer would have got it because he was technically first in line. So there's that. Thanks, Mom. This is an old hat. This is a hat that has gone to camp with me every summer, and it spent lots of hot summer days on my head. There should be more ventilation in it. Okay. Did I miss any super chats? Oh, I think I got some. Hang on. Maybe I did miss super chats. And Amy texted me. Okay, I got that. That was a while back. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, Erica just texted me saying you're good. Thanks, Erica. All right. I'm glad I got people paying attention. I'm going to put my phone right here so I make sure to see texts. Great. Okay, that's a lot. We've been through the babies. I made my Amazon announcement. Let's now start. We are 51 minutes into this live stream, and I haven't answered one Patreon question yet. Here we go. Patreon questions. Let's get to it. Buckle up, everyone. Enjoy chatting with each other in the chat. And if you want me to see one of your things, do a super chat. But otherwise, I'm going to try and blow through these. I'm going to try to blow through these Patreon questions. Here we go. And also, I really like this bourbon that Wayne got for me. It's really good. It's tasty. I like it. Also, Tracy gave me a bourbon. So let me just mention this really quick because Tracy gave me a bourbon for my birthday when we got to Snake Discovery thing, and I haven't tried it yet because it's still in Seattle because I didn't want to fly back with it because I'd have to check my bag. So it's sitting in Seattle. That'll be tried on one in the future. And then Amy left me a Scotch here when she came to the green room when I wasn't here last week. So there was a Lagavulin left for me, which is one of my favorites. If not, that might be my top favorite, a Lagavulin 16. Very nice birthday gift. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Wayne. As I've always said, it's very classy to buy someone a bottle of Scotch or bourbon or Irish whiskey. It's a classy move. I appreciate you all. Here we go. Amy took these questions from Patreon and she condensed them all and put them into categories. She did such a great job. I appreciate that, Amy. She's a very good producer. All right. Linda says, I just purchased a 1-year-old ball python. At what age do you consider a ball python a juvenile versus adult, or is it based on size? You know, it's kind of based on whatever you want. I say 3 years, usually, just as a general. I say that at about 3 years, your ball python is an adult. But really, females are often sexually mature at 2 years, 2.5 years. Males certainly are sexually mature at like a year, you know, sometimes less than a year. So, but sexually mature doesn't mean adult, right? Because a 13-year-old kid could be potentially sexually mature. That is not an adult. So, you know, I say about 3 years. You could be overfeeding your snake. You could have a 1.5 or 2-year-old snake that you've overfed and it's great big and it's a 1.5 or 2 years old. That's just a fat adult or a fat juvenile. I mean, so that's what I think. But let's see. Nicole says, Nicole, who I just sent a snake to, says, I just got my first ball python, Mr. Mac. He's about 3 years old, and I've had him since mid-July. He's had 2 successful feedings of large rats and recently entered a shedding cycle. Is this normal behavior at this age range? So, you know what? I wish I had asked you this before I wish we had clarified this before. I'm answering it now, but a couple of things. If it's in fact a large rat, that's much too big for any ball python. But a lot of people say a large rat, and they mean, you know, what a seller of rodents would call a medium or a small. But the largest rodent that I feed to any ball pythons go to my breeding females, and that's a medium rat. That's what the sellers call a medium rat, and that's a rat that's about, if I'm doing my hands, it's about this big-ish, something like that. A large rat is quite a bit bigger, and really no ball python, unless you have like a Volta, which is a much larger ball python locality. You don't need to go with large, but there's a chance that when you're saying large, you just mean that it's kind of a bigger rat. But what I'll say is, if you fed him 2 large rats, he would go into a shedding cycle for sure, because that would make him grow quite a bit in that period of time, and he would go into shed right away. Even with 1 large rat, the snake would probably go into shed right away, because they need the room to grow. So for male ball python, I don't feed my males anything larger than a small rat. Adult male ball pythons get a small rat once every 2 weeks. That's my feeding schedule for them. So there's that. So yeah, I think you're fine. If you fed them, in fact, large rats, I would switch to smalls. And then, but either way, yeah, I think it's fine. I wouldn't be feeding actual large rats to a ball python. Even though they can somebody mentioned this to me. I had a conversation with someone recently where they were, I had said that to them, that you don't want to feed. We were talking about male ball pythons, and I was saying you don't necessarily want to feed them medium rats, because it's a little bit more than they need. And they were like, "Oh, he handled it right. He handled it just fine," and which they will. They'll handle a medium rat. Like, I could feed any of my adult males a medium rat, they'll eat it just fine. They would probably eat a large. It would be no problem. In the wild, if they came across a large rat, they would eat it. It would be fine. But what we do in captivity is we try to feed them something that they can easily manage the digestion process of, and it's not going to stress them out too much. So we have them on a feeding schedule. We know when they're next going to eat. You know, in the wild, the snake doesn't know when they're next going to eat. So they might take something that's much bigger, and then their system is just going to work really hard to try to digest that, and it's going to take a lot longer. So we just don't want to tax their system like that when they're pets. So that's the thing. We're not trying to feed them the maximum size that they can take. We just want to feed them a healthy amount to keep them in a decent body condition. All right, this is me quickly blowing through questions, you guys. Sometimes I take a while. Sorry about that. All right, Kathy says, Bucket's been eating great since I followed your snake whisperer advice. Oh, that's fantastic. He's a year old and went from 300 grams to 389 in about a month. Okay. I know yearlings should be at 500. Is it okay for me to feed him every 7 days until he gets to 500? He's always looking at me like he needs a snack and is loving the weaned rats. Okay, so a few things. Number one, I wouldn't say that a yearling should be at 500 grams. Sometimes yearlings are quite a bit bigger than that. Sometimes they might be smaller. It just depends on your snake and what you've been feeding them. Yeah, I don't know that 500 is I guess it's an okay benchmark, but it really just depends on the snake. Yes, certainly you could feed your snake every 7 days. I mean, there's a lot of people that feed their snake for their whole life. They feed their snake every 7 days. I like to switch to every 2 weeks eventually as the snake gets a little bit of size on them, but that's fine. He's always looking at me like he needs a snack, and he's loving the weaned rats. Yeah, so you could, at this point at 389, you could get a bag of small rats and start to feed the smallest rats in that small rat bag. So small rats are anywhere from, I think, like 40 grams to maybe 70 grams is a small rat. Somebody put in the comments if you think that's wrong. It kind of depends on the seller too, but I'm thinking of Lane Labs rat sizes. I think 40 to 70 grams ish. So 70 grams would be a little bit bigger than you would want to feed them, but 40 grams is perfect. 50 grams would probably be fine. We're at 4. Yeah. So maybe switch them to smalls. And your snake might always be looking like they want to eat, because if they're not off food, a lot of times, regardless of when they last ate, they might look like they're hungry. So because they're opportunistic feeders and they don't know when they're next going to be fed. So they're always kind of looking for the next meal sometimes. So there's that. Hold on. I just saw that I have a super chat. Let's get to it. Justin, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the inspiration and insight. Because of you, I have my own beautiful ball python. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. That's really nice. You guys that are super chatting me and then just saying nice things and not asking a question. I don't know what that's about, but I really appreciate it. That's very nice. And congrats on your ball python. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Thanks for that. Okay. Aaron says, can you give an honest bite review, pain rating throughout different stages of ball python's life, in the odd chance they confuse you for food or danger, or if your favorite YouTuber hasn't posted a video in a while and they're in a mood? That's funny. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're talking about ball pythons, even an adult, so obviously as the adult grows, they get stronger and their mouth is bigger and their teeth are bigger, but ball pythons still don't have big teeth, so they can't cause much damage. If it's an adult reticulated python, you go from Echo, who bites me all the time, as you know, doesn't cause any damage at all. It's no big deal. I don't care really when she bites me. But if she was full grown, even a full grown super dwarf, that could cause more damage. They have a little bit longer teeth and they tend to get bigger than ball pythons. So that can cause more damage. Certainly a mainland reticulated python can cause a lot of damage because they're much bigger. A ball python, you would, from an adult, you're going to feel more of a pinch. They're going to have stronger jaws, but those teeth still are not long enough to really get deep into you. So it just is not going to cause much actual pain. You're going to feel startled. So sometimes you attribute that to pain, the fact that you were startled and your adrenaline is running. But if you really think about it, what it amounts to is a pinch like this, like I'm pinching my arm like this. And that's not that big of a deal. And you can't really feel those teeth because they're so sharp and small that it's like a needle that, when you get, when you go in to see a nurse to get a shot of something and the needle is so small and you're like, oh, I didn't even feel that. It's kind of like that. And then when they release, there will be blood. Always, regardless of the size of the ball python, there will be blood, but still is just not that big of a deal. So that's that. I know we didn't go size by size, but the point is the only time it would get to where, I mean, I guess it depends on you, but in my opinion, it's not a big deal at all. If Damara were to ever bite me, it would cause more blood. So I would have to do cleanup more, I guess, but it still wouldn't be that big of a deal. Okay. There's another super chat in here. Josh says, my wife and I watched countless hours of your content leading up to adopting our first ball python 6 weeks ago. Oh, congrats on your new snake. Can't thank you enough for what you do. That's another one. Just super chatting and not asking a question. Josh, thank you so much. Congrats, man. That's amazing. I'm glad that you got some good information and it was helpful to you. Lori just texted me. Oh, good. Lori is on it as well. She's going, you have another super chat. I think that was it though, right? That's really nice of you guys to keep an eye out. All right. And then Amy sent me a message saying, hey, you're missing a lot of super chats, but I don't think I am. Have I missed any though, you guys? All right. Somebody tell me if I have missed someone, give me a name so I can go up and look for it. But I think I've got them all at this point. So Lori texted me yes, and then she texted me no, but I don't know what she's responding to because I keep talking. So Lori, tell me if there's anything that I've missed. Okay. Here's one. I'm getting it right now. The snake chick. Missed you. Thanks for the super chat, the snake chick. Missed you where? When? At Snake Discovery? I appreciate that super chat. Here's another one right away. Grabbing it. Look at how fast I am at getting super chats. Hi, new patron. I want to ask, how does one do a dibs on a baby and your voice is soft and calming? Oh, thanks. It's, you know why? Because I have a cold right now, and so I think my voice is a very sexy voice right now, you guys, because I have a cold. So the way this works, Cowbell Chaos VT, is that on Patreon, when a clutch starts to hatch, I make an announcement. You can actually go on Patreon and you can look a few videos back. You'll see the announcement that I made for this Clown Pied clutch. And I always say, this is the snakes are pipping. Put a comment below if you want to be on the wait list, and I'll put you on the wait list. And you can even comment. You can send me a message right now. You can comment below that video, whatever. I'll see it and I'll put you on the wait list, because the list of available snakes from that clutch just started going out today to people. So there's still room on that wait list. I still have one snake available from my last clutch. This little one is still available. We've been through the wait list. Oh, a little hisser. Do it again. She was sitting here earlier today with the tub, with her tub shut. I hadn't messed with her at all, but she's just looking out the window. I hope you guys can hear that. She was looking out the front of her tub, hissing at me. I wasn't even touching, like I was kind of moving around in front of the thing, and I'm hearing this hissing, and I was like, that's got to be number 8. And it is. So this snake needs a little bit more work. The other ones in the clutch, most of the other ones in the clutch have done pretty well with the crazy hissing, which they all came out that way. And you saw the one, my holdback. I haven't worked with my holdback more than the other snakes in that clutch. He just calmed down quickly for some reason. This one has not. Still has never. This one hasn't struck. Hasn't bit me or anything. But quite the vocal snake. I'm excited to rewatch this live stream and see how those hisses sounded in the microphone. But hold on, I think I got off track. What was I responding to? I was responding to Cowbell Chaos. So anyway, the point is that you just tell me. You just make a comment. You can send me a message, but if you comment under the video, that's helpful so that I have a record of who's on the wait list, you know. And then what happens is that wait list starts to be created when the snakes are pipping. But I don't know what I have until they crawl out of the egg. And really, a lot of times after they shed for the first time, I'll know what the genetics are and I can price them and put that together. And once I have that all figured out, then I start going down the wait list in the order that people told me that they want to be on the wait list. And then you can decide if you want one of the snakes or not. That's okay too. But that's how that works. So this little sassy one is available. And I think that she will. So I think she'll socialize just fine. She just needs to be worked with a little bit. She hasn't seen me in a week and a half until yesterday when I got home. So she is a orange dream, and she 100% het pied is what she is. Okay. We have other super chats. Thank you for the super chats, you guys. Paul Buckley says, bring your brother Kent live on here for a minute. It would be so funny. I love your show. Thank you so much. Kent has been on a live stream before. Some of you probably remember that. He's done it a couple times. Hang on, I'm going to get to these super chats. But look at this. So number 8, this is, a lot of hissing, a lot of vocalizations, but not curling up in a ball. Just totally okay to explore once she's out in my hand, which I think is interesting. Some snakes will, they're hissy like that, are hissy because they're just super nervous and they think they're going to be killed. So they're just in a tight ball for a really long time. She uncoiled and started curling up. Started crawling around right away. She just is very vocal. That entire clutch was. It's really funny how a clutch will hatch with all kind of the same personality to start out with. They're all chill, or they're all hissing, or half of them are biting, or, it's interesting. Okay. Sarge 978. Thank you for the super chat, Sarge. Been watching all your videos and old live streams. Oh, that's cool. That's nice that you're jumping in on those old live streams. The knowledge has been invaluable. Thank you for all that you do. I live 10 minutes from Nerd. Oh, that's so cool. So I may buy a ball from Kevin. Do you have any other breeder recommendations? Yeah, I have a lot of breeder recommendations. I recommend Gray Family Snakes. They sponsor this channel and they're awesome. Right now they don't have a ton of babies because they had a slow season this season, but I think they're going to have a pretty killer season next. And but obviously if you've got Nerd right there, I would go and just look at what they have. They may have other species that you're into, because Kevin's got tons of stuff. That's really cool. Thanks for that super chat. But Spencer, who's probably still on the Royals project, he's got some babies that just hatched out that are really cool. Chat with him if he's still on. There's tons of breeders that have stuff. I've got a few things here if you're on my Patreon, but man, I'd love to take a trip to Nerd. I'm sure I will at some point. Desiree, thanks for the super chat. New Flaming Beard member. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Thanks. Just got my ball python 2 weeks ago. Congrats on that. We are struggling to name him. He's a lesser axanthic pastel yellow belly and is very monochrome. Oh, that's cool. I want to see a picture of him. We need name suggestions. You guys throw out name suggestions for Desiree for that snake. Lesser axanthic pastel yellow belly. Yeah, axanthic would make him pretty monochrome. I would go with if I was naming this snake, I feel like I might go with naming him after a film star from black and white movies. I might name him Clark or Clark Gable, something like that. What are some others? I have to think for a second. My mind goes a little crazy when I'm doing live streams because I'm not normally ADD type personality, but I feel like I am with live streams because there's so much going on. I've got snakes doing things. I've got stuff on my clipboard. I got people saying things in the chat that I'm trying to keep track of. And so it's hard for me to quickly come up with things in my brain. All right. Thanks for all those super chats, you guys. You guys keep super chatting and it's keeping me away from going through my list. Back to the list. First of all, what do I do with my flashlight? Oh, here's one. Let's just make sure that Dash didn't. Oh no, he's still in there. Oh, you guys can't see him from this angle. I got him though. I could put another, you know what? Let's put another, hang on. Let me grab another snake and then we'll get to this. Who can we grab out? Oh, I bet Tiger Lily's up. Hang on. Oh my gosh, I was right. Hey, lady. What is happening here? Oh, I see. I love the door. So I have doors on my black box cages rack. It's got these doors on the side. If you look at my video that highlights that new rack system that they have, I love the doors. They just make the thing look so cool. But I was just struggling to shut them. Hi, Tiger Lily. You want to hang out with me for a minute before I put you on the counter? Okay. Sorry for my sniffling, you guys. Wait, let me back up. I've missed a couple super chats. Let's make sure that all right. I got Desiree's. Now we're back to Sarge again. Thanks for that second one, Sarge. Nerds facility is incredible. I have stopped in several times. If you ever make the trip out here, I'll buy you a Scotch. Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. I'll take you up on that. That's cool. Yeah, I really want to visit Nerds facility. Paul, thanks for the super chat. I think how you have Kent on the channel adds so much fun to the information you bring to your message about snake care. It's awesome. Get Kent. That's great. Thanks. I'm glad that you like Kent. That's I will say that it is this summer it's been I've been doing so much traveling this summer that it's harder to put out videos. So I've had to make it a little bit easier on myself. So there is less Kent's Corner. There's still Kent in the videos, but less Kent's Corner. And I'm streamlining my videos a little bit more because just to get one a week out is a struggle. So thanks for bearing with me on that. And I hope you guys are still enjoying what's coming out. Let me double check my texts. Okay, Erica's confirming that I'm still good. Great. Okay. Here we go. So all these comments that I'm skipping, you guys, I will read the comments. I can't reply to the comments in the chat after the fact because they don't come in like a comment on the YouTube channel, but I can read them. So tomorrow I will rewatch the video and I'll read the chat. I always do. So I just can't reply to them. So I appreciate all the comments and I love that you guys are all chatting amongst yourselves. That's great. Okay. We're still on page 1 of the Patreon questions. Here we go. Where am I even at? We did the Honest Bite review. Becky is asking, hey, I was wanting to ask about keeping both males and females. We have 2 boys and 1 girl. We're never going to breed, but is there an effect on behavior having both genders near each other? Thanks. You know, this is a question that a lot of people ask, and I don't think there is really, but that's not to say that like if a female is, you know, if a male and a female are sexually mature and they're giving off pheromones, there might be some sort of smell in the room or whatever, but it's not going to make your snakes go crazy. It's not really a noticeable difference. You know, we always talk about the inspector, who those of you who watch my videos know that the inspector during breeding season goes a little bit nuts. But what I mean by breeding season, his breeding season isn't determined by him. It's determined by me. As soon as he's paired with a female, he's now breeding. And several weeks after that, he'll start acting a little bit crazy. But it's not just triggered by the fact that there are females in the room. I don't think. It's because it always happens after I've paired him. So that is my limited experience. That's not I'm just going off of what I observe here in this room, and I have a small amount of snakes, and not a ton of experience breeding. So take that for what it's worth. Okay. Tara is asking, how do you feel about cohabitation between different species? For example, a boa constrictor or pythons with things like White's tree frogs, garden anoles, dart frogs, or similar species, provided, of course, that the enclosure is both large and bioactive and the environmental parameters are the same. I'm curious about this. You can find very little information other than don't do it. Yeah, see, the problem is that there's not a benefit to the animal, to either animal, and the risk is stressing them out. And the reason everybody just says don't do it is that other than zoos, like if you have a room size enclosure like a zoo, it's just an experiment, and it might not go well for the animal, for either animal involved. So I say don't do it just because of that. I have never done it before, and I wouldn't want to try that experiment just because I don't think there's a benefit to the animal. If it was a situation where you had, I can't even think of a great example, but you had animals with a symbiotic relationship. So let's say you had a rhinoceros in your backyard, and then you get one of those little African birds that hangs out with the rhinoceros and picks their teeth or whatever they do, or maybe it's hippos. I don't know. Maybe you have them together, but animals with a symbiotic relationship, maybe that would work. But I don't see a benefit in trying it, where it could potentially stress out one or both of the animals. All right. Chaos Keeper says, I have 3 ball pythons. I'd like to make an enclosure for them that keeps them separate, but utilizes one basking heat source and one underbelly heat source. I'm pretty sure I could figure out a way to do the belly heating with heat tape like a rack system, but was wondering if you have a recommendation for the best basking heat source for this kind of endeavor. I've never seen something like that, and I don't know how that would work. You could have 3 enclosures sitting across one heat tape, but for a basking, like if you had a basking heat, I don't know how that would work. That might be a tough one to put together. I would just make it easy on yourself and do 3 separate enclosures, or build. If you're gonna construct something, maybe you just do it with belly heat and consider it more like a tub setup. I mean, even if it's not a tub, you consider it like a tub setup. It just has belly heat, and you make sure that your room is warm enough to keep the ambient heat up. That's a tough one. Okay, let me make sure I haven't missed anything. Where's my, oh, here we go. All right. Tiger Lily, you're so pretty. All right. The Naughty Irishman says, hey, Bob, I have 2 subjects I'm interested in hearing more about. Excuse me. Rack cleaning. What are you using and how often? There's so many variables depending on what is getting cleaned up and regular maintenance. Yeah, so regardless of whether it's a rack or a cage, I'm spot cleaning every day. I use either F10 or chlorhexidine wipes. That is a bucket of dry wipes that I get off Amazon, and I mix up chlorhexidine or F10 and dump it in that bucket. So when I pull out a wipe, it's got veterinary grade disinfectant on it, and that's what I'm using to pick up poop or urates or whatever. I'm going through and spot cleaning every day, and about every 6 weeks I do a full clean and change out the enclosures and take the tubs outside and wash them down, wash them off with soap and disinfectants, such like that. Hey, yo, don't do that. Come here. Okay, the second question that the Naughty Irishman has: with socializing, do you free roam males and females together multiple males at the same time? Are there ages, sizes where you make adjustments? Yeah. I actually just came out with a video that talks about all that. I have rules. So Tiger Lily can free roam with other females. She is technically, I would not breed her right now. She's not the size that I want her to breed, but she would definitely breed with a male. So I don't want her with males. She can be with females. I don't free roam sexually mature males together because I don't want them to perceive a rival male in the room. Like, I don't want it to stress them out. I don't know that they would necessarily fight or battle, but I think it would be stressful for them. So they get to free roam alone if they're free roaming. I don't usually free roam them. Like, I'll give them some time out on the counter or something like that, but they're not just wandering around the house like my great big females do. By house, I mean the green room, you know. So yeah, I've got rules. I don't mix species, stuff like that. I have a whole video that came out a while ago, maybe a month or so ago, about that. Okay. Matthew says, so first, how was the build off? Great. We talked about that. Went over that. How's Kent Snake doing? Oh, that's Anya. Oh, and then you talk about being booted from that Facebook group, which we already talked about. That's a bummer, man, that happened, but I would just let that go. Facebook groups are pretty toxic sometimes. And, you know, that's just one of those things. Maybe Anya just ate a pretty big meal yesterday. I don't know that I should get her out. It's been 24 hours though, but I'll look at her and see how she's doing. Let's do this. Let's see if Tiger Lily wants to here. See if I can just put her. I don't want her immediately going in with Dash. So I'm going to put her up on this top level. Okay, so while I'm doing this, since this is obviously going to take a minute, where are we at? Here we go. Birdie says, hi, I was wondering, since you have many snakes, do you have your snakes on some kind of rotation? Okay, hang on. I'm coming back around. We got Tiger Lily on the ball there. I'll let you guys watch her and me at the same time with the magic of video software. Okay, here we go. Where are we at? Birdie's question. I was wondering, since you have many snakes, do you have your snakes on some kind of rotation? Do you handle or take out some snakes on certain days and other snakes on alternating days so everyone gets a fair amount of time out of their enclosures? That's a great question. And no, I don't. And this is kind of like feeding. It has to do with just knowing my snakes and knowing, when I feed, I'm feeding based on what I think they need at that time for that individual snake. And it's the same, especially with free roaming, because not all of them are comfortable free roaming. Not all of them are comfortable being out multiple times a week, whatever. I have some snakes like the super dwarves that want to be out every day. And that's totally okay. If I'm here, I'm letting them out. I have ball pythons that are very comfortable with being out and free roaming. And I have others that would much rather stay in their hide. And it's a little bit stressful for them to be handled. So, and then I have some like Kata doesn't necessarily want to be handled, although she's getting better with it. Kata's my big ivory girl. She really enjoys free roaming. She, when I open her enclosure, she likes to come out. She knows where she wants to go. She tends to go to the same place. And she also likes to wander a bit. She's really good at it, but she doesn't want me to mess with her. Although she'll come over to me and crawl over my lap. Like she'll just, if I'm in the way, she'll just crawl over me, which is cool. But they all have their own personalities, and I don't want to stress them out with, I'm not trying to make a snake free roam if they're not into it, because most of mine are ball pythons, and ball pythons value security over everything else. And for many of them, being in their enclosure inside their hide is their most comfortable spot. And if they're out of that, they're a little bit tense. So that's that. Okay. Eric is asking, did you socialize Stella and Echo the same way as your babies, meaning my baby ball pythons? Mine is really shy. Yeah, I do. I socialize them all the same. My boa, everybody gets the same socialization because it's the same thing with either a baby snake or just a snake that hasn't been socialized yet. They look at us as a danger. So the techniques that I use about, like, you know, pulling a tub open. Can we do this with, there we go. Pulling a tub open and letting the snake check out my hand. Oh man, I wish he would just do it. It would be so great if he just did it on top. Oh, he is doing it. Look at that. Letting a snake just check out my hand is going to work regardless of the species. And it just takes some longer than others. I will say that with a reticulated python, I believe they are smarter than ball pythons, and probably by smarter than most other snakes. So I would tend to think that they would take to this a little bit faster, but some snakes are just really shy. So, oh, that's another snake we can bring out. I can show you the baby ball python, or the baby retic that I have, because he's out of quarantine and in his own little enclosure, and he's doing well with socialization and target training. Like, he's totally recognizes the target at this point, which is really cool. All right, dude, can I boop you back in? See ya. All right. What do we have? Oh, Tiger Lily getting herself in trouble already. Okay, hang on. Hi, lady. Can I just move this? Because this is going to be a problem for you. Hi. It's just me. It's just me. You do your thing. I'm just making it safe for you. I just talk to my snakes all day, you guys. Do you do that too? Do you talk to your snakes like I do, or am I the crazy person? Let's see. Toya says, I have two questions I would love for you to answer. When you're using different household items in your enclosure, is there a special way that you sanitize them before putting them in? Example, toilet paper roll, Pringles can, driftwood. No, I don't usually, because there's nothing. I'm not worried about pathogens being on a toilet paper roll or something like that, because they haven't been with any other snakes. So there's no reptile pathogens, and I'm not worried about bugs being on them. If it's wood that I brought in from outside, that's different. I'm going to bake that. But just some box or something, I just throw it in there. If it does get if I do think, oh, this might be a problem, I'm just going to spray it with chlorhexidine and let it dry. If it's something that I think is going to be a problem. How can I do your hand technique with my ball python when he's in a glass terrarium and not a rack? I know you aren't supposed to come from above when grabbing them. Yeah, it's a little bit trickier in like a tank, but what you can do is, if you got your tank like this and your snake is on this side of the tank, you can reach your hand in this side and come forward. You don't have to reach over the top of your snake. So it's just that. It's just bringing your hand in wherever he's not, and then coming forward for the snake. So, and sometimes you have to reach in over the top of them. You just kind of want to avoid it if possible, Matthew, thanks for the super chat. How are the super dwarf retics and Handsome Dan? I can't believe I forgot to ask. I'll show you Handsome Dan. I'm going to show you the baby retic, and I'll show you Handsome Dan. So the super dwarves are great. Echo is a zombie right now. She's in shed, deep shed. Lori's just texting me that I forgot a super chat. You guys are on it. Lori and Erica are on it with these super chats. I appreciate you both. Tiger Lily's dropping things. Let me see. Let me grab Handsome Dan if he's up. He's usually in the front of his tub. But hang on. Okay, I'm not grabbing Handsome Dan because he's in his hide sleeping, and he doesn't spend much time doing that. So I don't want to bother him when he's in his hide. Let me grab the super dwarf. And also, where's my... Oh, here we go. I just want to pure all my hands really quick. Handsome Dan, I have one of those balls, one of those holy roller balls in his tub, and he loves to hang out on that thing. Sometimes he sleeps inside the ball. He oftentimes is just hanging out during the day, just on the ball, whatever. He just loves the ball, and he's on the ball so much that it's actually rare that he's in his hide. So he's in his hide. I'm gonna leave him alone. Okay, how about let's take a look at the littlest retic. Oh my gosh, look at you. Look at this little boy. So cute. Here's the littlest retic, you guys. He's so tiny. He's just a little worm. He's being socialized very well. I mean, he's taking to socialization very well. And he's a super smart young man. Dude, you're so cute. I haven't named him because he is I don't consider him mine, because he will go to probably someone on Patreon who's looking for a socialized and target trained super dwarf retic. He's high percentage. He's like 86 point something percent super dwarf, and he's probably anery. The breeder says he is anery. I'm going to say he's probably anery, just because the way that gene works, we've figured out with retics is that a snake could come out looking anery, but it turns out that they're just het for it. So I don't want to guarantee that the snake is anery. I would, if I had to bet, I would say he probably is, but hang on. We're going to do a little bit more of this lovely bourbon that came from Wayne the Distracted. Really nice of him to send me that. And so an example of the intelligence of a reticulated python, I should look and see how many meals oh geez, Tiger Lily, hang on. Did we break anything? No. Okay, good. She's just knocking plastic things over. Not a big deal. Oh, you can see her in the screen there. Just going to go find a hide. So whatever, I haven't fed him a ton of meals, but let's say 5, maybe. And he already knows what the target is. He gets excited when he sees it. He knows what's up with the target. And also Handsome Dan is very well target trained as well. Handsome Dan, now we're working on don't strike at the target. So you know when your snake is target trained when you show them the target and they strike at it, because they know that means food. And that's a good sign. You're like, okay, great. He knows what this means. But now we've got to get him to where he knows it means food, but it's not food, So that's what we're doing with Handsome Dan. And he sometimes doesn't strike at it, and sometimes he does, like he did last night. That's okay. Just take some time. Hi, babes. Hi. Can you stay over there and not get yourself into trouble? Hello. I see you. Come on, stay back there. All right, where are we at? Yeah, Jennifer. Jennifer, I think this was your idea, right? To call him Nomad. I love that, and I think you're the one who said to do that. Jennifer has great ideas, you guys, and I love the idea of calling him Nomad. And I mean, that's kind of his name in my mind, but I don't want to be calling him that, because if I name the snake, I'm going to get too attached. He's a really hard snake not to get too attached to anyway, because look how freaking cute he is. but he's not staying with me, so I don't I have to psychologically get ready for the fact that he's not going to be here. So yeah, I love the idea though of calling him No Man. Hey, what are you doing? You gonna just be right there? Can you do that without wrecking my camera setup, please? Tiger Lily is just not adhering to the space that I've set out for her to explore on. All right. Okay, back to these questions. Told you this was going to be a long live stream, you guys. Where are we at? Oh, we're all the way down here. Okay, here we go. Julie says, I'm planning on breeding my lesser female platinum, my female lesser platinum. I tried last year and she locked, but no success. Any helpful advice, please? Thank you. I always say that I'm not the best person to give I try not to give breeding advice just because I'm new at it. But I will say that sometimes snakes, first of all, occasionally male and female snakes are not compatible in a given season. I know that a lot of people talk about, if you have snakes that don't lock up one season, a lot of times they will the next season. It's just, whatever. They just weren't compatible at some point. So I would just say, keep trying, keep being consistent, put the male in with the female every 6 weeks, let them be there for 3 days and don't give up. Do it for 6 months or so. And ball pythons are very easy to breed. It's not, man, Tiger Lily is, hang on. I got a problem now because Tiger Lily has gone under the tripod that's holding this camera. It could be problematic. Hang on, let me try to get her off. Will you move, please, lady? I don't like this. Look, here's the thing. I support your exploratory nature, but you're causing problems. Okay. Hey, there's another snake in there right now. Don't bother, Dash. Thank you. Look at that. She's like, oh, I didn't want to hang out with that guy. Super chat. Look at that. I'm on it right away. Sir Humps, thanks for that super chat. Hello, good sir. I got an idea after seeing your target training. Since they see blue-green spectrum, I've been changing the light color in her enclosure to blue when feeding. Oh, that's a cool idea. Like you click on a blue light and that's her. That's how she knows that it's time to feed. That's a cool idea. Let me know how that works. So I'm guessing you're doing it like right before you feed. So you'll click on a blue light and then feed. I'm curious to see how that works. Is that bringing her out of her hide when that blue light comes on? Very interesting. I hadn't thought about doing it that way, but that would be similar to target training. Cool idea. All right. Where are we at here? Hey, will you just stay over there, please? Hi. Can you stay over here? Thanks. I'm going to put her back in a minute because she's just crazy. I mean, she's not crazy, but I have lots of camera equipment. Jennifer, thanks for the super chat, Jennifer. How many clutches are you expecting to hatch this year? I'm expecting. What else am I expecting? I mean, we've got Freya sitting on eggs right now. Oh, I can give you an update about that too. That's interesting. I'll tell you about that in a second. So we got Freya sitting on eggs. I'm hoping Damara and Kata go. but I don't know that they will because I'm not like they're not giving me signs that they're necessarily gravid. Except they're both off food, but that's it. I'm not getting any like serious nesting or anything like that. It's strange. So potentially those two, and then are those my only other? Molly laid a clutch of slugs, and that was a bummer. And is that it? I think that's it for this year. I think we only have 2 other snakes that could potentially lay eggs this year. So Freya's been sitting on eggs for a month and a half. I think they're due to hatch in 2 weeks, and I haven't known how many eggs she's sitting on because she laid them and coiled them, and she's been sitting on them the whole time, and I don't want to bug her. And yesterday, I'm feeding snakes, and every time I feed, I offer Freya a meal. And I'm chatting with Amy Bentley, our very own Amy Bentley. We were chatting. She was feeding snakes. I was feeding snakes, and she was telling me a story. And I'm trying to offer Freya some food, and Freya kind of crawled off of her eggs a little bit. So I just lifted her body the rest of the way off of them, and she let me. She didn't get defensive about it, and I was able to pick up the clutch and see what we had. So what we have is she laid 8 eggs. 2 of them went bad. I was able to separate one of the bad eggs from the clutch. The other one I couldn't separate, but it's okay. The other eggs that are sitting next to it seem to be doing fine. And with only 2 weeks away from them hatching, I think they'll hatch just fine. So it looks like we'll have 6 good eggs from that clutch. But it makes me wonder, she laid 8, 2 went bad. Would those 2 still have gone bad if they were in the incubator? You never know. It's an experiment. So, but it's really cool to see her on the eggs and have her maternally incubate that clutch. It's pretty cool. Norixia, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate all the educational videos you put out. I've learned a lot from you, and we'll be getting my new friend next week. Oh, congrats on your new snake. Thanks so much for that super chat. I'm glad that the channel's been helpful for you. That's great that you're getting a new one. Congrats. Very cool. Have I missed any? No, I don't think so. I think I've gotten them all so far. Okay. Oh, we're not. Okay, so Tiger Lily's going up. And she's okay if she does that. She's in good shape. Great. All right. Jennifer, the sire to Freya's clutch is the inspector. So I'm really excited about this clutch because we're looking at potential super orange dreams. Everything's going to be orange dream. Everything's going to be inchy. Half the clutch is going to be super orange dream. Half the clutch will be calico. We'll have some extreme gene in there, which I still say is a subtle gene that I can't tell is there, but it's going to make the snakes brighter. So we might be able to tell on some. I don't know. It's going to be tricky, though. It's going to be a tricky clutch because the inspector's got a lot going on. We found out the inspector's a firefly, which means he's pastel and fire. So we'll get some of that in there. This is going to be another one where I'm probably going to get a hold of Austin at Mutation Creation to help me identify the snakes because we have a lot of genes going on in that clutch. They're going to be cool. B, thanks for the future or the super chat. Thanks for the future chat. The super chat. I appreciate it. B says, first time snake mom. Cool. How do I know if my snake is comfortable with me? Oh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh. I wish you guys could see Tiger Lily. I got to save her though, because she's kind of over a light bulb. It's a little bit too warm. Hey, can you not be there, dude? I got a reticulated python in one hand. Hey, I know you're trying to be epic and cool, but can you not like crawl on the lights? Can you be a little bit safer, please? Thanks. Okay. You know what? Say goodbye to this little nomad snake. Can we? Oh, there we go. Look at how cute he is. I love this guy so much. Just little baby super dwarfs, right? Look at these eyes. If the camera will focus on it. So cute. All right, I'm putting him back really quick. And then I'm going to answer this question. So I gave that little super dwarf a Mag Naturals cliff in his tub. He's in a tub, but you know how I have Mag Naturals ledges in these cages that you can just magnetize? You can do that in a tub. So the magnet's just on the outside of the tub on the side. It fits. You know, you can push it in, it fits. And so he's got a little cliff and he loves it. He sits on it all the time. He's on top of that cliff way more than he's ever in a hide. He has 3 hides to choose from. He's never in there because he likes his cliff. And I get it. He's a retic. They like to sit on cliffs. Okay. How do I know if my snake is comfortable with me? All right. So when your snake, a snake that's not, a snake is not supposed to be comfortable with you first of all. So if the snake's brand new, it's okay that they're not comfortable with you right away, but they're going to feel tense. You're going to feel like their muscles are flexed, kind of. They're a little bit tense like that. If they're really scared, they're going to have very short tongue flicks, like short, quick tongue flicks. Once they're a little bit more comfortable in the moment, here's the other thing is, snakes live moment to moment. So the behavior that you're looking for is they relax their muscles, they have longer tongue flicks, and they start just crawling around exploring a little bit. They're not trying to race away from you. They're not super tense and balled up and being crazy. They're just kind of moving around a little bit freely. They're free to open their body a little bit more. Their tongue flicking slowly. That means that in that particular moment, they feel comfortable enough to explore. You might take them out the next day and they're tense again. So I think that you can say that the snake is comfortable with you once you've had enough sessions where it seems like they're just comfortable anytime. They just don't tense up when you bring them out or when they're with you ever. Your snake will get to that point eventually, but it takes some time, so that's my opinion on that matter, at least. Right. I'm still trying to keep an eye on Tiger Lily up there. Where are we at on this? You guys, this is so fun. There's still 143 people on right now. 146 now. Welcome to the 3 of you who just joined us. I appreciate those of you who stay in for, these are long live streams, and I'm just happy that some of you find them valuable enough to sit and watch, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it after the fact. It's nice that you'll watch these long live streams because it is just me. Here's the thing. When I watch these back, I always go, can you just have a 1-track, can you just stay on topic? That's what I'm trying to tell myself when I watch these back. That's what future Bob is telling past Bob when I watch these back is stay on topic, quit jumping around. It's really hard though. And it's annoying for me to watch, but I'm glad that some of you are willing to look past that annoyance and enjoy these live streams. So here we go with the next question. Where are we at? Paul Seibel says, a comment more than a question. Bob, I think you really need a rosy boa and a black African house snake. Then I can learn more about them through you. That's cool. So Paul, obviously you've got a rosy boa and a black African house snake. Are those new? Have we talked about those before? I don't remember. Oh my gosh, Tiger Lily, dang it. Hang on. All right. That is enough free time for you, lady. You can just hang out with me. How about that? So for those of you, there are some people that might be watching this that have only seen my short videos. is what I meant. That have only seen my short videos, and in those I show free roaming snakes a lot, and I don't have time in those shorts to explain how the free roaming works. And so a lot of times people think that my snakes just live in my house and they free roam the entire house. Sometimes they think that they live in the room together. None of that is true. And the other thing that's not true is that I don't just free roam them and not know where they are. I keep an eye on them because they can get themselves into trouble. And I am very, as much as I seem very ADD when I do these live streams, I'm very aware of where my snakes are at all times when they're out free roaming, because this is a snake-proofed room. But Tiger Lily was just climbing over the top of a door, like on this little ledge that she could easily fall from. And you know, when I know that my ball pythons are climbing, I'm keeping an eye on them. So that's something with you know, when I say free roaming, they are free to cruise around, but if they're going to get themselves into trouble, like climb on something, then I'm gonna spot them. If it's a super dwarf and they're climbing, that's totally fine. They can do that on their own, no problem. But the ball pythons are clumsy. So let's see. I was talking to Paul about rosy boa and the African house snakes. You know, I really like the house snakes. I got to handle one for the first time recently. And they're really cool. They are, I mean, I've heard Garrett Hartle say that they're like tiny pythons, and it seems like that's true. They really seem like tiny pythons. Very, very cool snakes. The rosy boas, I really want to find one in Southern California somewhere. I mean, a wild one. I'm looking for those. I'm looking for those rosy boas when I'm out herping. And just rattlesnakes. You would think that I would have found, I really wanted to find rattlesnake. Like, I figured that I was going to find a bunch of rattlesnakes this year. I had all these herping trips planned. Haven't seen one. But I'll keep looking. I'm sure that the elusive rattlesnake in Southern California will present itself at some point. Tiger lilies. Oh, she's on top of my head. I was like, I can feel that she's on my hat somewhere, but I can't quite tell. But there she is. All right, she's doing good. So, a kid who likes gunpla, because there's no Y at the end of this. A kid who likes gunpla says, can we get a video of an enclosure build for Handsome Dan? I love the little guy. I love that little guy too. And you know what? His next enclosure is going to be as soon as the super dwarves get upgraded. Oh, their lights went off. As soon as the super dwarves get upgraded, he's going to end up in one of those. So I won't actually do a build because he'll be in that cage right there. And that will happen pretty soon. He's doing well. He's in a tub right now, but he does well in that. And he likes to come out and roam. So, hey lady, you're staying on my hat, or you're going to stay with me. She is a troublemaker. All right. Jennifer Lyle says, what did you buy at Pomona? Pomona was a show that happened last weekend here in Southern California. And there were some producer notes on this when Amy compiled these questions from Patreon. She gave me some producer notes. Let me just read what that says. I have to click over because that's on my computer. Okay, so Jennifer says, what did you buy at Pomona? The producer note from Amy reads, ah, ha, 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 ha. A lot of A's for that last ha. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 laugh emojis. And she says, I know you weren't at Pomona, but I love that I'm not the only one who gives you shit for always buying something when you go to reptile shows. My response to that question is, I was not at Pomona. I was out of town. So that's that one. Next question. Oh, next question is from Amy. Hang on, we're going to get to those in a second because Matthew Tracy just gave me a super chat. Hang on one second. Okay. Just making sure there was. All right. Matthew Tracy says free roaming is hard to explain to people. The room is secure and they are closely watched. My banana is a climber too. Yeah, it is. I mean, I've had people online try to argue with me that if I'm watching them and they're not roaming 24/7, that's not free roaming. And I'm like, okay, well, you have a different definition of it. That's cool. Whatever. It's semantics. You can call it whatever you want. I call free roaming giving the animals a space, some sort of confined space to roam. If you give them your whole house, I don't recommend it. But if you give them your whole house, that's a confined space. You're not opening your doors so that they can roam outside, and also, I don't recommend them living just generally in the house. Although I will say that Amy Benzie, who I'm going to the Amazon jungle with next month, in the past did that successfully, where she says that a long time ago she caught wild snakes in her yard and she would bring them in to live in the house, and she would have heat mats set around and water placed around for them, and they would just live in her house. I don't recommend that most people do that, though. Tiger Lily has gotten tangled up in my hat. Hang on. We'll solve this problem in a moment. Dude, really? Thank you. All right. Thanks for that super chat, Matthew. Okay. Amy says, Amy has a number of questions, and they're all very creative. If you weren't totally rocking the bald head, what would your go-to hairstyle be? I mean, my first thought is a mullet, but I've already had a mullet when I was in junior high. You're welcome, ladies. Back then. Maybe just a subtle pompadour if I had hair, Amy further asks, what is the best way to eat potatoes? Well, the best way to eat potatoes is to put them in your mouth and chew them. But I think what you're asking is how, the best way to prepare potatoes, I think, is the question. And that would obviously be hash browns just on the slightly lighter side of burned. And that's not my opinion. That's a fact. What else do we have? What is the most obnoxious sounding musical instrument? That's a great question, because you're asking a banjo player, and some people would call the banjo an obnoxious sounding instrument. I highly disagree with that. I also don't think that the bagpipes are an annoying sounding instrument. A lot of people name those as annoying. My answer would be, again, not an opinion, but a fact, the kazoo. Most annoying instrument. I'll tell you a story. I do this summer camp that I haven't been able to do in the last couple of years, but for 10 years in a row, and I will do it again as soon as I can. I have been a camp counselor at Camp Del Corazon, which is a summer camp for kids with heart disease, and it's fantastic. It's my favorite place to be. It's on Catalina Island. Anyway, the most annoying counselor. There was one counselor who is no longer a counselor because he was so annoying that he can't be there anymore. But super annoying individual. And I ended up having to be in a cabin with him one year. And I was like, I found this out. And I was like, no, I've got to be with this guy. So annoying. And he shows up and he gives all the kids a kazoo. Like, he brought kazoos for the kids. So the first thing he did was hand out kazoos for all these 8-year-olds. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I've never, murdered someone before, but I understand the desire, because have you ever heard an entire cabin full of 8-year-old boys trying to out kazoo one another? Really bad. Most annoying instrument, the kazoo. All right. Do you know how to fold a fitted sheet? Yes. I've never had to, and I'll tell you why in a second, but the way it's done is you take it in your hands and then you shove it wherever, in a drawer or something. But why would you have to fold a fitted sheet? Because what I do with a fitted sheet is I pull it out of the dryer and I put it on my bed. There wouldn't be any reason for me to have a second fitted sheet that's just waiting for me to use, right? Like, why would you have a second fitted sheet that you would need to fold and then put into a drawer to just sit there? I just have the one. It's on my bed. That's how I do a fitted sheet. But folding a fitted sheet, yeah, it's definitely just balling it up. No reason to watch a YouTube video from some old lady telling you how to properly fold a fitted sheet. You just take it and you ball it up, because when you unball it, sure, it's all wrinkled, but you're going to stretch it out and put it on your bed. It's going to stretch all the wrinkles out. And who cares if it's wrinkled? It's a sheet on your bed. So I think folding a fitted sheet is irrelevant for several reasons. Great question, though, Amy. Her last question, another really good, thoughtful question, is, do you think the sea is salty because the shore never waves back at it? Yeah, I do. You guys, that's it for the Patreon questions. We're not necessarily done with the live stream, but we are done with that clipboard. We did it. It only took me 2 hours and 6 minutes to get through the Patreon questions with the big announcements, with the snake shenanigans. Oh, Amy's back. Look at this. Hi, Amy. Welcome back. I just answered all your questions. I hope you're here for it. Wait, where'd you go? We were just talking about you. Okay. Yeah. So really thoughtful questions, Amy. Well done. They were just answered. I think you just missed them. Sorry about that. All right. What have I missed? We're not doing a Patreon scroll because I had so much to do today that I did not have time to update the Patreon boards. And I also want to say this to those who are Patreon members. I'm realizing today that I think we have a problem with the Patreon boards, in that we're going to make this quick because not everybody watching this is Patreon members, but I just want to mention this. Patreon just added, in the last month or two, a thing where you can do a free trial. So a lot of people have signed up on the free trial. And when that happens, I get a notification on my email that they've signed up on the free trial. And I thought that as soon as the free trial goes to the normal subscription, it would notify me. And at that point, I would put your name on the Patreon board. But I think what's happened is it doesn't notify me. And I'm going to talk to Patreon about it, because I need to know. Because what I do is when I get an email that says I have a new Patreon subscriber, I just handwrite your name on the board. That's literally a chalkboard that I handwrite stuff on. So I think I've missed everybody in the last month or two who have started off with a free subscription, and then it's just rolled into a paid subscription because I didn't get a second notification. So I'm going to have to go through a lot of names, like all the names. I need to go through and look at my board and compare that with Patreon. And obviously my board's not in any order at all. So it's going to be a day, but I need to figure that out. So if you're on Patreon and you have been on for a while and you haven't seen your name on the board, please let me know. I will get it sorted. I apologize. Look at my hat band, you guys. How pretty is this hat band? B, thanks for the super chat. Okay, so I got my snake about a little over a week ago. Good job saving time writing that word, Lil. Is his name Benzo? I love it. That's a great name for a snake. Well done. while he began his shed. His last feeding was 7:25. When should I try to feed him? I mean, whenever you want. I say that because snakes can go so long without eating. It's not that big of a deal. Usually, oftentimes a snake will eat the day after they shed, or I mean, the day, if they shed in the morning, they might eat that night. It just kind of depends on the snake. So a lot of times, even if a snake will eat when they're in shed, like if they've established with me that they'll still eat when they're in shed, I still sometimes give them that week off just because it's good for their digestive system to not be eating all the time. I'm talking about younger snakes that I feed weekly. If a snake that if it's a snake that I feed every 2 weeks, if it's a bigger snake that I feed every 2 weeks, that's different. Tiger lily, though, I mean, here's another example. All my snakes are different. Tiger lily does not eat every time. She went off food for a long time, and then she started eating again. She took a couple meals, and then she refused again. So she's still not a consistent eater. So I'm offering her once a week. I will, I'll as a strategy to try to get her to eat. I'll offer her something. I'll wait a couple weeks and then offer her, maybe like I'll try that once and then I'll go back to offering her once a week. But if you look at her, she's not, like, her body condition is fine. You can see that she is, she's got kind of that pyramid shape. She's certainly not fat at all, but she's got a bit of that pyramid shape. If I'm holding her like this, you can see that she's got a great body condition. But she went, I think I'm right when I say she went literally 4 months without eating anything, and she still has a decent body condition. She is not a large snake. Her sister is bigger than her now because her sister hasn't gone off food for that long. I changed subjects, B. Sorry. I hope I answered your question. I think I did. But I switched to snakes are all different, and I a lot of times get I get questions from people super concerned about their snakes eating and like, when should I feed, and how, my snake didn't eat this week. What do I do? And such like that. It's really not that big of a deal. They'll, I say that, but then also if your snake is off food, you should make sure that your husbandry is good, try things, change up their enclosure, stuff like that. There is a thing with females that they call the 1,000-gram wall that Tiger Lily hit at about 800 grams. And I believe it was that because I did try everything with her. She went on paper for a while. I tried scenting. I tried different things. She went to where she only eats mice right now. I guess she's a mouser at this point, but I think she'll go back to rats. But the only thing I've been able to get her to eat in the last, I'd say it's been 9 months to a year, is mice. And then she went off mice even and wouldn't eat for 4 months. So she's had a couple mice in the last month or so, but she's not a great eater. It's all right. She doesn't have, I'm in no rush with her, so it's fine. Not Dolly, but Evie, look at this. I think I've mentioned this in a video before, but I want to show you this. Evie was even worse. Evie ate great, just like Tiger Lily did. As a young snake, both Tiger Lily and Evie were fantastic eaters. They just ate everything, never missed a meal. And in fact, I'm going to I'm not going to put her back because I want to compare. So Evie was like that for much longer. She probably went over a year where she only had 2 or 3 meals, I bet. If I look back on my Husbandry Pro app, there will be, it'll show me a year and a half or so, and it'll just be a couple of little meals from Evie. But then, all of a sudden, she decided that she was done with those shenanigans. And she was going to start eating again. So look at this snake. She's full breeding size. She's well over 1,500 grams now. She eats a medium rat every time I offer it to her. No problem. But she went, 6 months ago, I was like, yeah, she's my worst eater. She's skinny And I mean, she never was skinny. She probably was never less than this as far as body condition. But I was like, yeah, she's just not really growing. But then all of a sudden she was like, okay, I'll take everything you give me. And now she's this size. I don't know what she weighs now, but a number of rodents ago, she was 1,500 grams. So she's well over that now. So good girl, Evie. She's going to make some sunsets for us. She's a vanilla het sunset. And her boyfriend is the Sundance Kid, who has been ready to breed for quite some time, but Evie wasn't ready. So she is now. I'm going to start pairing them in probably November or something like that. Sometime at the end of the year, I'll start pairing them. So that's just an example of, as long as you know that your husbandry is good and you're trying a bunch of different things, you're making sure your snakes are healthy. Sometimes snakes will go off food because there's a medical problem. So you need to be aware of that too. But as long as those things are handled, sometimes ball pythons, especially females, especially at about 1,000 grams, go off of food. And they can go a long time without eating. Okay, Amy has sent a super chat. And after reading the first few words, this might be nefarious. Bob, here's $10 in an attempt to bribe you into repeating your answers to my questions. I missed them by seconds. No, Amy, you have to back up and hold on. Maybe I can answer them fast. Where are they? I mean, she did pay me $10, you guys. $10 is $10, right? If you weren't totally rocking the bald head, what would your go-to hairstyle be? What did I say? I said a subtle pompadour. A subtle pompadour. Best way to eat potatoes? Hash browns. Crispy. It's the most obnoxious sounding musical instrument. I have a whole story with that. It's very important that you watch my answer. The kazoo. Do you know how to fold a fitted sheet? Yeah. Do you think the sea is salty because the shore never waves back at it? Same answer as the last question. There we go. There's your $10 worth. But I think my answers before were much more complete. You guys can jump in the chat and tell me if you liked my answers before better. Thanks for that super chat, Amy. You're the best. You guys, Amy is the best producer. She's really good. Erica, how is your little flower pot girl doing? Also, everyone hit the like button. Oh, that's nice of you to mention, Erica. Yes, hit the like button. My little flower pot girl is in her flower pot right now, I guarantee. And the reason I know this is that she's in shed. And whenever she's in shed, she spends it in her flower pot. I knew she'd be in the flower pot. There she is. Little shedding girl who still won't eat on her own. But we're trying. We're trying. We're giving her all the opportunities to be a snake. We want her to learn how to be a snake. And we're trying. But other than the fact that she doesn't eat on her own, she's fine. She's frustrating because she has not figured out how to eat on her own yet. But I'm doing what I can. So okay. What else? You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. I want to put Dash back because he clearly, he came out at the beginning of this live stream. Dash came out and immediately went into this hide and has not moved since. This is clearly not a snake that is interested in roaming. And normally when a snake does that, and they don't immediately come out and start exploring, I usually just put them back anyway because they're not. It's a pretty good sign that they're not interested in being out. Okay. Oh. Sorry, I didn't give you guys a... There we go. So that's a good example of, sometimes if you just watch your snakes, if you have a room that's safe for them to free roam, Jenny Craig does that a lot. I want her to free roam because I want her to be more comfortable with things outside her own hide. She's a fairly nervous snake. And sometimes she just finds a hide, crawls in it, and goes to sleep. And when she does that, I take her out and I put her back in her own hide because that's where she'd rather be, So as much as Dash likes to roam around, Dash is a pretty good roamer. He clearly wasn't into it today. So, oh, Mom, you're still on. It's good to see you on here, Mom. Glad you are here. And my sister was going to be on, but I bet she's got young kids, so she might have gotten busy. I thought I was going to dump Tiger Lily when I took that drink. So my sister, Shannon, who you guys will love when she jumps in the chat, got her first ball python with my nephews. One of my Patreon supporters needed to rehome a snake in the Seattle area, and my sister was willing to take that snake. So she's a new snake owner, and I just helped her set that snake up. And they've had the snake for a little while, but it came with a new black box enclosure that the snake hadn't been in yet, and I helped set that up. And we shot a video. That'll be a video that'll come out pretty soon with my 7-year-old nephew, super cute kid. It'll be a fun video, I think. Okay. Any other snakes that you guys want to see? I'm putting Tiger Lily back. She's usually not so crazy when she roams, but she is tonight. All right, say goodbye to this beautiful lady. She's a pretty girl. All right, babes, there you go. Oh, Anya, Patricia just reminded me. Let me check on Anya because I did feed her last night. Let me just look at her and see if, she never stresses. It wouldn't be a big deal to pull her out. But I do want to show you guys how pretty she is because she's gotten so big. She's a great eater, and she's gotten much bigger. If you haven't seen her since when I first got her, when Kent first got her, because this is Kent's snake, she's gotten big. And the pastel with axanthic. Pastel is not a great morph with some combinations, but it is with others. And axanthic is one of them. She's a pastel axanthic. She's heifer-pied. But she just looks awesome. So hang on. Look at how pretty this girl is. She just is, she's getting a bit of brown, as they do when they get older. She used to just look kind of black and white. Now she's a little bit brown, but just super beautiful and a lovely personality. Really cool little snake. I'm not going to have her out long, though, because she is working on a digestion. She was very happy to find out that I was feeding last night and that she was one of the ones. I really like the snake. This came from Gray Family Snakes. They gifted Kent with Anya, and they're lovely people. Gray Family Snakes. I like them a lot. I was happy to have Roger jump on board as a sponsor. Look at that girl. So cool. She just can't, like, I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do any work on socialization. She came right out of the box in FedEx, just like this, basically. She's super cool. I mean, look, if Kent is going to handle any snake ever, it should be this one, I would think, you know. Although I will say Anya has bit me once. It was a food bite. She is very food motivated, and one time I opened her cage during a night that I was feeding other snakes, and I opened hers to check on her, and she jumped out and grabbed my hand and let go immediately. But I guess, I mean, I would never tell Kent that, obviously. But other than that one time, the accidental food response, she's just the coolest snake, and she would never intentionally embed her teeth in my skin, right, young lady? Okay. I'm going to put her back. I pulled her out of her warm hide to show you guys how pretty she is. What a nice snake. All right, be right back. I saw people say Maya also. Hang on. I mean, Matthew, that's a good point. It's possible. You never know. We never know, right? We're just guessing with snakes, so it's very possible that she just wants to eat me. Kent could have a point. I saw people ask for Maya. Let's see if Maya is up and out. Let me do this. What did I do with my... Oh, there it is. Purell action. Maya's been out a couple times today already. She's always happy to come out, though. I mean, I think it's hard to judge happiness on a snake. Babes. She's in her hide. I'm just going to let her come out. She's awake. She's coming out. Hey, lady, come on out. So, Amy, some of you may have heard me talk before about how I will open Maya's tub and she'll look straight up at me. Like, she's not in food mode. She's just looking at me. She's doing it right now. She's just looking at me. She goes right up, almost like a ball python would periscope, but her head is straight up. And it's super cute. And when Amy came to the green room last week when I was out of town, she opened Maya's tub and Maya did that for her, which is great. Oh, look at Amy just mentioned it. Amy was so sweet, or Maya was so sweet for me last week. I didn't even need a hook. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. She's really smart. It's taken her a while because black-headed pythons are so food motivated that that it's tough for them to, you know, when they want food, they just want to open their mouth and grab something. But she definitely, I can tell that she doesn't want to bite me. And the last couple of times that she's accidentally either tried to bite me or actually has gotten teeth in me, she pulls away as soon as she realizes it's me. But she's so excited about food that if I touch her side, she has, there's some, I need to look at the science behind this, but there's something that they're saying that some snakes have in their skin where they can sense. It's more than just like feeling like we feel on our skin. They can sense heat or something. So if a hook touches her side, there's no reaction. But if my warm finger touches her side, she whips around with an open mouth, not like any other snake that would whip around to see what it is and then strike. She's just whipping around with an open mouth, just hoping to grab something. And hang on, she's coming out of her hide, but also out of the tub. So let me grab her. Let's see what she's. Hey, come here. Yeah, she's doing good. I forgot what I was saying. So she'll whip around with an open mouth. Do you have something on your face? Can I see? Can I get this really quick for you? Thank you. You got some. She's really good at picking up little dust bunnies or whatever in my house. And she also isn't super head shy, so I can like work with her face. She's not bothered by it. But my point is that she's not really trying to eat me. And I think that I always think like even right now, because when I first got her, she would seem like she's fine. And then all of a sudden she'll just open her mouth and bite. But she hasn't done that in so long that I think she probably won't do it, but I'm always looking for it, you know? I held, what's Snake Discovery's black-headed python's name? I forget the name, but I held that snake last week, and that snake is probably twice the size of Maya and super jumpy, like not a socialized black-headed python at all. But also they're reluctant to bite out of defense. So she was super bumpy. Like I opened her cage and took her out. Like I touched her to take her out. And she was like, bump, bump. And then when I pulled her out, she was kind of bumping me around and like trying to get away a little bit. Just isn't used to being handled. But not biting out of defense. And I've heard that in the wild, they don't bite out of defense. They'll do a bluff strike sometimes, but they're not really biting, which is pretty interesting. I really like this snake. I mean, she doesn't feel like a python. She doesn't really act like a python. Super interesting. Very interesting species. I will say I may have mentioned this in the last live stream. I don't ever remember what I say, but my when all the other snakes are out of the back in their cages, I will let Maya free roam, and she can pretty much go wherever she wants because I know that she'll keep moving. She's not going to get behind furniture. Like I don't let any of my other snakes go in my bedroom, but Maya can because I know she's not going to go under my bed and hide. She'll go under my bed, search around for prey, and then when she doesn't find anything, she'll come back out. She's always moving, so she can kind of go wherever she wants. Although when she starts climbing, then I have to spot her because she'll fall. They're kind of like ball pythons in that they're great at climbing up things, but they're not gonna stay there. They'll fall. But what was I going to say? Oh, that I usually put shoes on because I think that when she starts moving around, she gets into hunting mode and she's looking for some warm prey. And I just don't want my ankles to be like, I don't want her coming under the couch or whatever and seeing my ankles and going for it. And she also will sometimes surprise me. I'll be on the couch editing a video or something and she'll come up behind me and I'll feel her nose on my shoulder. I think I've said this recently. I feel like I've said this. You guys might have heard this recently before. Sorry if I'm telling you a story over again, but it is pretty interesting that she's kind of checking me out. Like, is this something that I can eat or is this that guy that takes care of me? Like, I'm not sure. I'm just going to push my nose into his shoulder until I figure it out. So it's a little bit touchy when she's free roaming. I don't have that concern with any other snake that they're going to come up and like just maybe try to take a chunk out of me. But I do think Maya might, even though she hasn't bit me while free roaming ever. I just feel like that's something that might be in her wheelhouse to do. So I'm a little concerned about it. But she would never just randomly go into food mode right now. I don't think. Watch, she just bites me because I said that. But when she's free roaming, she's doing her natural behavior, which is cruising around the Australian outback looking for food. You know, that's what they do all day. They're active hunters versus ball pythons and reticulated pythons, which are ambush hunters, you know. So anyway, I'm a big fan of snake behavior, and the differences in different species is really interesting to me. Lainey, I'm glad you made it. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right. I'm glad we got Maya out. Let's see what I've forgotten. Hang on. I tossed my clipboard, but I think I had notes on it. Talked about that. I announced my Amazon trip. Okay. I think we're good there. I'm not going to pull any babies out when I have Maya in my hands, but let's do this. Let's get Maya, as much as I don't want to put Maya back because I love her. I do want to show you guys some other snakes. And I don't need my snake eater out when I'm doing that. I will say that I'm excited to Black Box Cages is going to build her a upgraded cage. And I'm really excited to get that because she's getting bigger and she's going to be ready for an upgrade soon. In the meantime, she does free roam a lot. So that's helpful for her to just get around and get her exercise and such like that. But it's going to be cool when she has just a bigger cage. Okay, here we go. I will say this for those of you considering a black-headed python, they are similar to retics in that they pee a lot more. So I just changed her paper today and she's already peed on it. I'm going to change it again. I change it almost every day. She's on paper because when she was on, I had her on Aspen, and it's harder to see when she pees, and it's just easier to keep her on paper. So I've got her on paper right now. I don't know that I'll keep her on paper when she's in the new cage. I'll probably try some different things, but they are messier. They do go to the bathroom more often, but not like a colubrid, you know, that will just poop everywhere all the time. It's not that. It's just that she pees more often. Same with the retics. Okay. All right. So I've got my little number 3, my little boy that I'm holding back. My little banana boy that I'm holding back is cruising around. Stellar J has a snake this is a beautiful snake. So I have a Patreon supporter named Stellar J that is that's getting this little snake. This is a Firefly Orange Dream Inchy, and doing very well, obviously, with socialization. I've talked about this. I don't remember which videos have just recently come out, but didn't I have a socialization video just come out a week or two ago or something, where I talked about this? You know, when I see a snake just like this, when I see a snake in front of their tub, I just open it. I don't pulling the hide off of a sleeping snake and saying, hey, interact with my hand. I'm just waiting till I notice that they're up. And having clear tubs is really helpful for that. You can't do that with those gray tubs that you can't see through. But that doesn't, I'm also not knocking that kind of tub, because, you know, not everybody is trying to socialize their snakes like I am, you know, so there's that too. You know what we could do for the first time? We could let's do this. Let's take this little one and see what they do with the countertop. Since we're all here, since there's still 122 people watching it 2 hours and 40 minutes in, we're not going to go much longer, but let's do this. Let's do this little experiment together, since they haven't. Here, you know what? Let's just go full screen right here. So this snake has not really experienced much outside of her tub, except for being in my hands. I haven't really placed her somewhere else before. So that's a new experience, and we'll do that with her clutch mate also, which is my little holdback. This little boy is her brother, and he's at the front of his tub also. I don't have the camera on him, but he's crawling out and trying to take his hide with him. All right, let's put him. Let's do this. Let's put him right here-ish. Hey, dude. This might take a minute because I want him to kind of crawl off my hand a little bit on his own. Look how pretty they are. Tell you what, both of them have fire, and fire is such a nice brightening morph. He's gonna pull that whole piece of wood down if he doesn't. Here, dude. Let me just push you up here a little bit. Give you some help. There you go. All right. So this is, oh, he is going to fall. Hang on. Here, dude. I got you. I got you. Oh, no, it's so scary. Something new, plus you're about to fall. That's the worst. Okay. And the little brass viper fell. Okay. Now they're in a spot. Scary start for that little guy. I think he's okay though. I forgot what I was saying, except that, you know, you notice the little non-banana totally still right there, right? And same with the banana now, also pretty still now that he's got a spot that he's in after he got scared a little bit. And they're going to be like that until they can start to tongue flick a little bit and maybe realize that there's no predators, and then they'll start moving around. I'm seeing the little non-banana moving his head around. He's checking out that ball, but they're just going to be kind of very slow about it because they don't know. They're babies, and when you're a baby, everything wants to eat you. So this is a great time for them to experience something new and realize that nothing bad is happening to them. And like I always say, I would never put a snake back right after something bad did happen. So that little fiasco with my little banana boy almost falling and the big heavy copper thing or brass thing falling down and causing a noise and a lot of vibration, I wouldn't put him back right after that happened. I would let him relax, forget about that, and start doing some normal movement behaviors, and then put him back if I want to put him back. But look at this little girl is doing great. She's coming out. You know, she's still very tentative, but she's already looking around. It's cool. Good for her. Mom. Some mom says, I had to go back and look at what you were talking about. So what's his name, Bob? And then she says, ignore that extra B. I do know how to spell your name, dear. I know you do, Mom. Sometimes we hit extra letters. I do speech to text all the time, and I do it when I reply to comments on YouTube, and I end up spelling things wrong because my speech to text doesn't do it right, and then I don't proofread it. So annoying. Anyway, Mom, he doesn't have a name yet. I have not sat down to think of his name. I was going to hold back another one. My first choice for a holdback, I was going to hold him back, and I was going to name him Scout. But I don't know that I like that name for this guy. I don't know why. But also, he might poop. Oh, no, he's not going. He's okay. I thought he was about to poop there. Yeah, I don't know what his name is. We'll see. I got two to name. I got this little clown pied boy that I've got to name too. I keep holding back boys. I need to keep girls. Maybe the next clutch I'll keep a girl back. We'll see. But look at this. I like this. I like this exploratory behavior from this little girl right here. So in this clutch, for those of you who don't know, the inspector is a mail maker. And statistically, for a mail maker, all the males in the clutch should be bananas, and all the non-bananas should be females. And it doesn't always happen exactly like that, but in this case, it did. So these are brother and sister. The non-banana is a female. The banana is a male. And then we have the one that was hissing like crazy earlier. If you were here, we still have that one here also. All the other ones have been shipped out. But so that one, the female belongs to Stellar J. That will be shipped out to him whenever he's ready. And then our little hisser is in her hide right now. So I don't want to mess with her because I think she had enough stress for the day. And then the banana is mine. I think he went behind a hide. Let me just check on him. He's okay. Can you guys see him from, let's see. Whoops, wrong one. Oh yeah, so he's kind of behind the ball in the top. I see him. All right. We'll just let them do their thing. A little bit of a scary experience for them, but they get to go through the experience without being attacked by predators. And that's the key in a situation like this. They get to have an experience. It was a little scary, but they didn't get attacked, and they're going to get to go back to their home. And that'll be a positive experience for them to have in their little brains. It's good stuff. Good stuff for a baby. Spencer says, do you have any more clutches coming this year? Can't let Lori win. Yeah, we were talking about one earlier, Spencer. I have Freya sitting on eggs right now. This is not, you're a recessive guy, and this is not a recessive clutch, but this will be some super orange dream. Everybody's going to be inchy. Half the clutch will be super orange dream. Everybody will be at least orange dream. Everybody will be inchy. Half the clutch will be calico, and then we'll have firefly stuff scattered in there. So fire and pastel scattered in there. So there are going to be some banger snakes, but nothing recessive, you know, like we talked about that when I was at your place, that Freya makes some really cool babies, and so does the inspector, but neither one of them have recessive stuff going on. They just make really cool snakes. So I'm super excited to see, I haven't had a clutch from that pairing yet. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that one. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. And then we might have some more freeway stuff from Kata if she ends up laying. And then I also paired the inspector with Damara. Damara's a pinstripe, and that would be fun to have babies from them. But I don't know if she's going to go. I can't tell if she's gravid. I don't have an ultrasound. And she hasn't really been giving me definitive behaviors that she's gravid, except for the fact that she's off food, and Damara is rarely off food. So that's the one thing I can. Oh, Mom, this is actually a great idea. You guys, my mom says, well, his daddy is the inspector, so how about Copper for the name? I kind of like that idea, Mom. I'm gonna mull that over because he is very colorful. Because get it, you guys, Copper, like a police officer in England, you know. Detective Inspector Rorschach. His son would be Copper. I like it, Mom. It's a great idea. That might be the thing. Will CNC has a great idea also. I do feel like I need a carpet python, but I'm trying to be careful because I don't have a ton of room. Oh, look at the little one coming out from behind that plant. I don't have a ton of room, and man, I really fell in love with a false water cobra. You know, Clint put a false water cobra in my hands at Snake Discovery. The first night, like after we did the build, we were talking about false water cobras, and I fell in love with this snake. And then the next day I got to work with another one, and they're so cool. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want one of these, but they're a big snake. And I already have a black-headed python. I have 2 super dwarves. I'm probably going to get a male for the blackhead. I'm probably going to get a male for the 2 super dwarves. So I shouldn't be collecting other big snakes is my point. But yes, I agree with you. I love carpet pythons. I'm guessing carpet pythons will be in my future, as will I mean, I'll have more space later. I will either have a facility or I'll have more room. I have a plan, but it's going to be a while. We're at 2 hours and 52 minutes, you guys. We're not going to go too much longer. Amy says dibs on a Kata baby. Amy, you get dibs on every clutch I have. You're like, I want a baby. You're going to have a full room. I'm excited for your snake room a year from now, 2 years from now. That's going to be full of just baby snakes that were produced here that I can come to your house and visit. It was so fun visiting snakes at your house earlier. Let's see what Kata's up to real quick. Let's see if she's awake. Speaking of Kata. Oh, yes, you are. Hi, Mama. Oh, look at this big girl. Oh, my goodness. Look at you. You guys, here's a big ball python. We've been looking at little ball pythons. Let's have a look at the big one before we end this live stream. Let's take a look at a big mama. Pretty girl who I caught drinking water. She's always drinking water. The snake is obsessed with her water bowl. And she also is really good at slithering backwards, as Amy knows. She doesn't. She's not a fan of being handled. Look at this. She's slithering backwards. Don't fall, dude. Oh my gosh. I caught her. I'm not going to let her do that again. So she's not a fan of being handled. I was going to say, but she's not super skittish about it. But then she just did that. Like, as I'm talking about her slithering backwards, she like totally did it. She's not a fan of being handled, but she usually does okay with it. And she likes to free roam a lot. She's a roamer. She likes to be out moving around. And So, when a snake is in breeding season, I don't usually handle them too much. I don't know that she's gravid. I mean, I've palpated her before. I've also thought there's a chance that the person that I got her from sold her to me because she hadn't produced clutches in the past. He told me that she had, but maybe she had. You never know. I bought her from a breeder that I didn't know, and so that's possible. I've tried to breed her too. This is the second year that I've tried to breed her. I don't know that she's gravid, and I tend to think that she's not. So I'm not handling her excessively, and I'm gonna get a paper towel here because while I'm talking, I kind of want to palpate her. So I'm not handling her excessively, but I do let her free roam when she wants to free roam. Like when I see her at the front of the tub, I let her out and let her do her thing. But let me see if I can feel anything when I palpate. She's been locking up with Ron when I pair them, but that didn't mean much last year. Really, yeah, I can't really palpate from here. The best way to do it is when they're climbing back into their tub, or whatever enclosure they have. They're climbing back in and they're relaxed. You can kind of feel in their belly, but if they're trying to crawl all over you, they're tensing up a little bit, and it's hard to tell. So I would like to have babies from her. It would be great. It's why I bought her, but I do just love her as a snake. So, we'll see what happens. If we don't get babies, we don't get babies. Also, she has plenty of time. Like snakes live a long life, and I'm in no rush, All right, you want to go back? Is that what you're telling me? All this backward slithering. It's like doing a moonwalk, but for snakes. This slithering backwards thing. Oh, let's do this. I'm gonna palpate her down here really quick, and I'll tell you if I get anything. Here, Mama. Come here. Let's get you back in here. That wasn't a snake. That was my flashlight that I just knocked over. Yep, I can't tell. As always, I can't tell with Kata. She just, I can palpate a snake and go, oh yeah, I feel follicles, but I don't think I'm great at palpating. It's got to be pretty obvious. And Kata has always been an overweight snake since I got her, and I think because she's so big, it just makes it harder for me to tell what's going on. Where's that giant flashlight that I bought for my herping trip in Utah with Amy? This is the brightest flashlight. I love it, but unfortunately, our herping trip did not pan out too well. What do we got for babies? We got one in this hide right here, and we've got one behind the plant. We're doing well. All right. I'm going to scroll down. I'm missing so much stuff. Sorry, you guys. Okay. I think we're about done. Is there any last really pressing question or really important snake that you need to see in the last 2 minutes? Let me know. Amy did tell me on our herping trip that she saw a million snakes. She just didn't tell me at the time that she saw the snakes. She didn't mention them to me. She told me after the fact. Really unfortunate because I saw one snake. Okay. I think we did it, you guys. We are 2 hours and 59 minutes into this live stream. That's super long. Can you tell that I'm losing my voice? I appreciate you all being here. Super fun having well over 100 people the entire time. That's really great. I'm glad you guys like these. Mom, I love you too. All right. That's a great way to end it, you guys. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.